Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of
Brothers
Keeper.
Keeper. Oi, man. It's been a
Hey,
long road, but we're here, you know.
we're
We're here,
here.
bro.
We got here. We're here
Yes.
now. We thank God for that. And so just for everybody listening, name's Ade Shakoya, and this is my brother.
Davis Williams. What's up, man? What's up, peeps?
It's all good. So, Brothers Keeper, what's this is about, really? Right. So, in a nutshell, Brothers Keeper is a platform for brothers, for us to come and talk, but also for the sisters and the ladies who are in our lives. Because let's understand this: we don't stand alone, right? The women in our lives, whether it's our sisters, partners, but obviously we're going to be focusing on the partners today, are very key to men. And as we know, for whatever reason, and we'll be unpacking that over some of the shows, as men, we don't always talk. We don't talk about things, and we'll be unpacking some of the reasons why. And that we're seeing is also reflected in the number of what? Mental health cases, depressions, suicides,
Yes.
disease, all of that type of stuff.
Yeah. And it's all linked, you know. It's all linked, you know, by a golden thread. And when we address one thing, we're actually impacting the other. So this is why these kind of conversations are so important, you know. And even like when people say like black people or black men don't speak, you know, we might speak, but we speak to ourselves in our mind, you know. We don't let people know exactly how we feel. We keep it to ourselves. And that is just what's really damaging for men in general, you know. So yeah, today, myself and my brother Ade, brother Freddie can't make it today, but you know, we are being his brother's keeper. So he's here in spirit, and he might join us at the clubhouse at 10:30, right?
Definitely so. The rave's going to be at the clubhouse. So right about now we can't go clubbing, but we're going to be at the clubhouse to get your club on, get your drink on, get your everyone on. But this would be opportunity to also to jump into this conversation. And also, just before we start as well, I think we need to give homage to a brother, to a giant, to a man among men. Right? Paul Lawrence. Every time I even just see and look at that man, it's like I get shivers. But the reason being is when we came up with this idea, Paul was one of the original thought leaders, hosts behind this, because we felt when myself, Paul, Davis got together to look at kind of some of the stuff that we were seeing in our community, especially as men, right? We figured that this was going to be a great platform for us to be able to share some of those things that as men we don't always talk about openly. And yeah, we was originally meant to launch on the 14th of January. Obviously, we had the sad news about our brother passing, so it's only right that we pay homage to a man among men.
Definitely, man. And what I loved about Paul as well, he was so unapologetic. You know, I'll be thinking something. I'm like, I'm not saying it. My man will just say it, you know, with a straight face. And I was like, I want to be like him, you know. It's just, no, seriously, like he was just so brave. And when he spoke with sense. He came with the evidence. He came with the humor. He was just an amazing educator, an amazing human being, man. And, you know, he's going to be sadly missed, but he's here in spirit, you know. And I can already hear him saying, yo, Davis, don't call me uncle. I'm not uncle, you know. You're making me feel old, man, you know, like. Yeah.
So we salute him. And actually, anyway, I'll save that for a bit later. So
Yeah.
So, bro, where do we start this conversation? Why is this important?
It's so important, bro. But even before we start, I want to ask you something, you know, because this topic is so serious and it impacts so many people. I have to ask you, bro, like, honestly, is it planting or is it plantain? Like, which one is it? I need to know. It's been playing about mine.
If you play on your app, my guy, it's plantain now. What are you planting? Planting is planting. This is plantain now. What kind of question is that one, my friend? My guy, I like my plantain. No, hey, don't play with my plantain.
I know I'm in the right place now. That's fine, you know.
There you go.
I'm in the right place. Some people say a plantain. I'm like, no, like.
What are you planting? What are they planting? Like seeds? Do they know it goes on tree? Like on the banana.
I know, but I think like we're in our community here, like when we're talking about unity, we've got to get that one right first. You know, before we
I
start
agree.
talking about anything else, is it plantain or is it plantain? You know,
I agree. And the second thing that we need to get right is that jollof rice, Nigerian jollof rice, is superior to any other jollof rice. Conversation done. I know my Ghanaian brothers and sisters out there, they want to say more hair, all that stuff, but let's just put that aside, especially during these kind of tough times. We shouldn't be arguing about those things which are irrelevant. Yeah. So
yeah. Yeah, man. But you know, like this topic, like, and this is not the only topic that we're going to be discussing, family. We've got a whole range of topics because we're not defined just by relationships. You know, we don't need a woman to define us. You know what I mean? Like, there's some other stuff that we want to touch on, but because Valentine's just went, it just made sense. Let's talk about this particular topic. And I'm telling you something, yeah, like we've been getting fire for this. Like, we've been getting some heat. Like, let's just get brother, let's just get that out of the way first before we get into the content. Like, it's like, why have we getting heat? Why the aggression? I'm getting DMs on my Facebook and my Insta. You hate women. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, wow. What have I said? I'm just asking a question. Like, is she a keeper? Is she?
I think it's also important that we give people a bit more context around it, right? So, like we said, so here's the thing about it. All jokes aside, the intention of this program, like I said, is to build a bridge, right? We need to build a bridge in our communities, right? A lot of the times, especially with the male and female, this is my perspective, and everything we're going to share is just a perspective anyway. Sometimes we seem to have this gap between us whereby, and it may come from a number of different reasons, and hopefully over the show we'll be able to unpack it. Maybe in Clubhouse we'll be able to get into it deeper, but I don't think it's one thing that we can just address even in one show with this one topic. But it seems to be a lot of times that we're misaligned, right? People come from different spaces with different, you know, people, whatever. And some of these core conversations, as you said at the beginning, they ripple through everything that we see. For me, one of the key things for me, if I'm going to be honest about it, I got 3 boys. I look out there and I look on the streets and I see what's happening. Even during lockdown, post-lockdown, I'm seeing kids getting stabbed left, right, and center and all these other bits and pieces, right? And then when I look at it, when I was out on road, back on road like 30 years ago, what's changed? In fact, things have got even more uglier, messy.
Yeah.
Why was we on road back then? Because for a lot of us at home, things at home weren't good. Do you know what I mean? Either mum and dad are there, but there's tension between mum and dad, or dad ain't there, or whatever's going on. And most people come from that. And then a lot of children then end up going out on the streets, and then we see all of this stuff that we're seeing, which is really painful to view. The reality is, whether or not, in my mind, whether or not people are married, whether people are baby father, baby mother, and I hate that term personally, but it is what it is, or in relationships. In effect, we are creating those environments, whether we intend to or not, right? Which are sometimes leading to these kids leaving home because home is just like, I don't want to be at home, I got to go out on road, and all this stuff is happening. So at some point, we've got to have these conversations. For me, it's not even about the ego. It's not about the woman, the guy, the whatnot. It's about how do we have these conversations whereby we listen and hear each other. Don't make each other wrong. Hear each other and think of the real bigger impact. That's my drive. I've got 3 boys. I got to think about that, man.
Yeah, and it's so true, you know.
Rap. Look who's there.
Big up. And my man's upside down, you know. What's all this? My man's upside down.
No, it looks right to me.
Oh,
It looks right to me.
I'm upside down.
Yeah, I'm looking at you upside down.
Wait. Let me sort this thing out. Wait.
You're straight. No, you're fine. Hey, bro, Davis, you need to set your screen.
No,
it's you, bro.
Okay, no.
Oh, put a comment, man. Is it put a comment, yo? If you're listening to this right now, put a comment. Is it the right way up or is it upside down? It's like, which one is it?
You're wrong, bro. My thing's all right.
Facebook, Plantain, yes, no way, Ghanaian all the way. Facebook use, oh look, we're getting some chats coming in. I don't know. Anyway, it's lucky that we can't see their names. So he said, no way, Ghanaian all the way, whatever.
Yes.
Bro, Freddie, welcome.
Sorry, I'm late, man. I had some stuff to do with the family, as you know, man. But I just thought, you know
no
what?
Apologies.
We're brothers, man, and you know what? We do this thing together, man. So I'm like, you know what? Even if I just come in and, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah.
No apologies, bro. Remember, brothers keeper, man. That's what we are about, right? We're holding each other together for whatever it takes.
No doubt.
Man.
So what have I missed, man? Like,
well, you missed that the fact that we've established that it's called plantain and not plantain. We've also established that Nigerian jollof rice is superior to any other jollof rice.
Standard. That's just standard.
That's it.
That's like, yeah, okay. So that's, I mean, those things are written in the stone. So that's live. We know that already.
That's it.
Yes.
Okay.
So that means, yeah, like we're in the brotherhood now. The brotherhood is official. Yeah, we all agree in those things there.
We're
so
bonded.
boom.
We're bonded by planting.
Yes.
and jollof.
And jollof.
No doubt.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. Yeah, so we're just obviously like just trying to just launch this reason why we need to have this discussion about, is she a keeper? Why in the bigger scheme of things is it an important discussion?
I think you've frozen. Have you frozen? So do you know what, right? So I mean, I've been thinking about this quite a bit this last week, you know. And one of the things that I feel like we definitely, even in the title itself, is we have to bear in mind that it could almost sound a bit like we're looking at them like they're commodities. Like, is she a keeper? And I don't want any women watching this to feel like for 1 second that we're implying that they're an object or they're a commodity. Do you know what I'm saying? And so none of us have. Do you know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to get that across. I don't know if I missed it, but I wanted to let women know that we're not trying to say like, is she a keeper, like it's a car or like an object, like, nah, but I'm going to go and trade in my car next week. No, we're not saying that. We're just saying this. And it goes both ways. Same ways we're saying, is she a keeper? It's the same question that women are asking, is he a keeper? There's no difference. It's just that we are looking at it from a man's perspective. So when you see us talking, please don't be misconstrued to think that we're putting you in a box, because it's an open-ended conversation, but we're just dealing with it from a man's point of view. Do you know what I'm saying? So Davis, let me start. So in your eyes, give me one trait that you would say would make a woman a keeper.
Do you know what? Yeah, and this topic is a beautiful topic because, you know, it's not something that I would say out verbally when I meet a girl. It's an internal dialogue. Like, do I want to keep, you know? And I agree with you, because we've been getting some like messages saying, "Oh, I'm not a dog," about keeping, you know, and it's and we get it. Like, we totally get it. But it is a conversation that a lot of men, I will own it. I've definitely had that conversation to myself. Like, do I want to keep her? Do I want to commit? You know, and for me, it's got to be someone that I can have a conversation with. You know, like, as soon as I open my mouth, it doesn't matter how the conversation starts. She's committed for the end product, the outcome. You know, I've met some people, like, as soon as you say something, it's a battle straight away. You know, just because, you know, I've said that I've not addressed her properly, or I said, you know, excuse me, yo, don't say yo, like, you know what I mean? It's a shutdown straight away. So for me, it's got to be a keeper, someone that's committed, to have a real, genuine conversation. You know, not interested in listening just so they can make you feel wrong or to shoot you down, but they listen so they can understand you, and then they can grow with you. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like yin and yang. Do you know what I mean? Like, none of us are complete. You know, we're complete and we're worthy, but, you know, sometimes you need someone to complement you. Do you know what I'm saying? It's about complementary factors. And but even though I'm fine exactly as I am, but it's about having a queen who can add value to what I'm doing. But to get there, though, it's a bit difficult, you know?
What you're saying there is so powerful, bro. And I really agree with you in the sense that I feel for a lot of men, especially, a lot of us have to be able to do good by ourselves. And you find there's a lot of men, especially black men, I feel, that are not always comfortable on their own. Like, we have to love ourselves and be strong on our own. And then anyone that comes into our circle is an additive and make us even stronger. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that's very powerful, like what you said, that it's like, what if a woman's gonna kind of come into our circle or be a part of what we're doing, or a keeper per se, they have to be able to add value to what we are as a package together, and not take away. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things. But yeah, I hear you, man. What about you, Ads? What do you think about, I mean, what would you say is one trait or one thing that you look for in a woman that would make you say, you know what, yeah, she's a keeper?
For me, it's words. I think words are powerful, right? And I think a woman who can speak life into a situation, that is powerful, because as we know, like we're saying here, in effect, most of us can take care of our physiological side, right? Feed, dress, and all of that. Okay, you know, woman feeds us. Okay, great. But we can take care of that. But the spirit, to me, is the most important thing. And a woman who can speak life, even when she's vexed, but can speak her vexedness in a way which is not damaging, which is not killing. To me, that provides a great room for us to grow and for us to be able to conversate. It's kind of what we've been saying here, you know. As men, we're going to be different. Go on.
No, go on, finish.
I was going to say, as men, you know, we're going to be different. There's going to be difference of opinions. There's going to be different views. How do we actually bridge that gap in a way which is very healthy, which is emotionally intelligent, as opposed to just rare, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? Because we carry those wounds, you know.
But
we carry those wounds.
But why do you think though? Like I was thinking about it as well. Why do you think there's so many strong, ambitious, gorgeous women out there who have all those traits that we all talk about, and they do listen and they do hear us, and yet they will get with a guy, and the guy still ain't gonna keep her. Like, what is it that do you know what I mean? Because I think about it all the time, man, and I also think about myself in the past where I've been with some women that were just amazing, and I think, you know what, they're good women, like they're really good women, and at that time I still wasn't giving them, you know what I mean? I still was like, they're good women in it, but still I was doing what I was doing at that time.
It was your fault. It was your fault, Freddie. It was you.
But this is the thing, you know, you don't make me laugh because I know you both trying to act like you ain't been there as well. Look at David. I know all of you, right? I've been where I've been. Where you listen, I know you guys have had a woman at one point in your life, right? That looking back at it, she was what we would deem a keeper. She was a good woman. She had all the traits of what we would ask for as a good woman, but maybe we wasn't ready as men, or we was behaving dumb or doing dumb stuff. So that's the thing I'm talking about. Like, what is it that makes, I guess, men have that woman that is a keeper and they still don't keep her? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what is it? What do you think it is?
And you know the worst thing as well is it's like we would even say that we're going to keep them. We say that we're going to be committed, but we don't mean it, you know. I will own it. I didn't mean it, you know. And if any of the girls are watching now, like, let me look at the camera. If anyone is listening, don't laugh. Don't laugh. Like, I'm trying to be sincere.
I wasn't laughing at you, bro. It's just like one of my sons said something.
I apologize if I've like left any wreckage behind me. You know, I was just trying to find myself, innit? I was just trying to find myself. And where I'm at now, I feel that I'm in a position to share, and I'm happy to be vulnerable. So I'm here and I'm saying straight,
bro,
you know.
You sound like an R&B song. Man sound like an R&B song, you know. You're about to go into the chorus all now.
In it. Don't come like Usher, boy.
Well, with the backing vocals,
I'm telling you, man. Listen. We should be a group like Joe the Free.
But no, man said Joe the 3, you know.
Joe the 3. But now what you're saying there, bro, I totally get it, man. And you know what? Actually, listen, I'm going to be the first to say sorry to any of the women out there that in my past I've treated in a way that was less than they deserved, because I know that there's women out there that I've handled in a certain way, and like, I know I have. Do you know what I'm saying? And I look back on my life and look back on the person I used to be and some of the things I've done. And yeah, man, I want to apologize on behalf. I'm going to apologize on behalf of all three of us. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no. I think we all have to own our own shit, bro.
Listen, I'm owning mine because I know
own yours.
This I've done back in the day, and some of it. And bro, I'll be honest with you. Some of it is to do with ignorance. Some of it is to do with ego. Some of it's to do with trauma. Like, we carry a lot of trauma, man. And when I look at my life, I can't talk for you guys, but you know my life, you know my story, you know my history, and I'm not making excuses for it, but I know a lot of the stuff that I went through, being fostered, my parenting, the deaths around me, my relationships with my mum, they affect us, man. And we carry that trauma into relationships.
We do.
Yeah.
We carry that baggage, right? And in the same breath of everything else, I think all three of us, and I think this is a good starting point because it goes back to your question. All three of us have most probably at different points in our life had women who were good, who were keepers, right? Who didn't deserve the way that we treated them back then. And likewise, you know, for anyone who's listening out there, but here's what I say: some women are gonna start trying to put themselves in that box. It might not be. But for the women out there, the good keepers out there, same thing. You know, I apologize for that because, like you said, we're taking the time to know ourselves. And let's be honest, as black men, and this is no longer an excuse as well. As black men, we go through certain things. We even forming our identity in the society that we live in, which is constantly telling us things, has an impact on us. Take away all the trauma that we feel, you know, at home, when we're trying to figure out what's happening, we don't come from stable homes, then some of us, like we were saying before, end up on road. And then that's a whole different mindset of behaviors that are defined there that we take on board, which are not healthy. And obviously we end up damaging some of our own sisters as well, right? And we might see that might be the reason why some women act in the way that we see that we act that now as we're grown and we figured it out and we start knowing ourselves better and we start recognizing, okay, that's not the way to roll. It's like I said to you before earlier, bro, Davis, right? Offline, it's like when I look back on my life, there's some things that I look back on my life 5-10 years ago now. I'm like, what was you thinking, dude? Like, what was all that about? Like,
when I think about you, Ads, like, I mean, obviously I've known Ads from when we were little and we was terrorizing places. Like, and I mean, I know we're not having this conversation now, but I remember like Ads when we were in colleges, shutting down colleges and banning people from coming in and robbing people in the colleges and all kinds of madnesses. So,
but like, Freddie, here's the thing about it. Remember this. We didn't even go to those colleges.
we just went there to terrorize the place. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, anyway, that's a whole different topic, man. That's a whole different show. But back in line with what we're saying, the whole thing with Is She a Keeper, it's like, let me ask you a question then. Let me flip it a little bit, right? Do you think you're a keeper?
Me?
Yeah. Both of you.
For some people. For some people not. I mean,
that's some politician response, man. Just answer the question, man. About it depends. Answer the question, man. Just say it with your chest, man. With your chest.
I'm a keeper, but he's no. I'm sticking by what I'm saying. I'm a keeper, but I'm not for everybody. You understand? My personality, the way I roll, the way I think, what I'm expecting. I'm not for everybody. Not every woman can. You know what I mean? But I think I believe I'm a good catch for the right person, where we align each other and we actually bring out the best each other. Definitely, 100%.
How about you, Davis?
And for me, like even someone put a question in the chat. What's your view of men who are behaving the same way in their 40s and 50s? You know, and I can definitely relate to that because when I was younger, I definitely was not a keeper. That doesn't matter how I presented myself. Deep down, like I didn't even want to keep myself. You know what I'm saying? You know, no serious. You know, but now I'm mature. I definitely know who I am. You know, like I'm so grounded. I know who I am. I know where I've been. I know where I want to go. I'm undoubtedly a keeper. You know.
No, I love that.
And let me just also.
But it takes work to get there, though. Don't get it twisted.
I mean, I'm still.
And before we come to you, Freddie, let's also make the point as well, right? I think it's the same thing about women. Being a keeper doesn't mean anyone's perfect. We got to understand that everybody is flawed, right? We're all flawed. But we recognize those flaws in ourselves, right? And own that. Do you know what I mean? And it's a process.
We're all. I mean, for me, work in progress, man. Like you say, like, do you know what I mean? You like you have bad days, you have good days, man. But it's about, like you said, it's about almost owning your stuff, man, and growing with it, man. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like when you can accept your wrongs and accept how you've been and accept the things you've done, only then can you kind of look at ways to change them and better yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I definitely agree with what you were saying, Davis, in the sense that, do you know what I'm saying? Like looking back at a younger version of ourselves. But and also in regards to what that lady, the person in the comment wrote about there's guys in their 50s, and I know men that are in their 60s and 70s, and they're still having a bunch of kids here and there, and I'm like, wow. Like, but then on the flip side, you'd ask yourself if that's what makes them happy, and so that's their thing, isn't it? That's their thing. I don't necessarily agree with it, but that's their thing.
Yeah.
But here's a question though: do we think that makes them happy, or is it they just got themselves stuck in a place whereby that's all they know?
Yeah, see, that's another thing. Yeah. It's true. I mean, for me, you see, this whole keeper thing, it's like it's having a woman that completes you. Do you know what I'm saying? A woman that completes you, because, like you said, Ads, like not everybody is for everybody. For example, I work mad hours and I put in mad work doing what I'm doing. So if I'm with a woman who can't identify and understand my work rate, it ain't gonna work. Then that's why you have people that are like road, hardback gangsters, killers, and they're happily in love with somebody that can deal with that. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's keepers for everybody, but it's the matching that becomes the issue. When a guy gets a woman that's not for him, but keeps hold of her, just for the sake of it. Do you know what I'm saying? And then messes her up because he's kept her, but she wasn't really meant to be with him. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's really challenging, you know, and sometimes, like, even the promotion and the conversations that we've been having, it's been a little eye-opening for me as well, because it reminded me that, you know, because we present so well, Kings, like, you know, we wear our crown up, we're successful, we're doing our stuff. There's an assumption that we're okay, that, yo, you are awesome. We're there's no kryptonite, we're Superman. But that's not the truth. Do you know what I mean? So when I see brothers, like my peers, approach women and they're trying to have certain conversations, because there's that immaturity, like they've not developed in a certain area, I see them get shut down to the point where a lot of my guys are saying, you know what, that's long, you know. So one of the things that I would really want is for sisters to understand that even though what we're keepers now, a lot of brothers are on that journey, you know, and we need help. You know, we need help. We need help along that path. Yes, we could do it by ourselves, but it's mean out there, man. Do you know what I mean? And who'd want to do it? We need that feminine energy. And sometimes it seems like there's a war going on between the men and the women. And this is something we have to eradicate. Sisters, if you're listening, if you know any brothers who's acting a bit funky, understand that, yo, like they're on that road to becoming a keeper, so to speak.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. It's a journey, man. It's not an overnight thing, man. And like some people need more help than others, man.
In fairness to the sisters, though, we can't expect them to be hanging around and waiting for those guys to finish their journey, because they don't know when they're going to finish that journey.
Yeah, no, of course not. I mean, it's not one of them ones there, like, man's gone prison and they're outside waiting. Do you know what I'm saying? But like, I do agree. It's a journey, man. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just a journey, man. And I feel Go on. No, I was just gonna say, I believe it's a journey, and I feel like it's not an overnight thing. And I think what we need to do as men as well is own our traumas, man. Own our, you know, we need to own our trauma. We need to own the mistakes that we've made, and look at them instead of just trying to hide and make excuses, man. A lot of us have made excuses for the way that we can behave rather than acknowledging. And I also feel that a lot of men, especially, man, we hear, but we don't listen. It's very easy to hear someone saying something, but how many of us actually listen to what's being said? And they're two different things. And I always say all the time, man, you can hear what I'm saying because I'm talking to you. You hear me, but you're actually listening to what I'm saying. And I think that's one of the key things in relationships, being able to listen, not just hear, listen. All
right then, Freddie. So let me ask you this, yeah? Like, we've been nice, you know, like we've raised up the sisters, we've apologized, innit? Like we've done that, and we've been sincere, yeah. But Freddie, I'm gonna ask you, when is she not a keeper? When is she not?
So for me, well, listen. So firstly, I don't like what's the word? I do not like friction. You know, argument. I don't mind a good debate because debating is healthy, but I don't like ignorant argument. You don't like that just argument for no reason and over everything. Like everything has a positive and negative. You can find that in everything, yin and yang. But if there's a point to be discussed, let's discuss it like big people. The whole shouting thing and make my voice louder than yours. Listen, I'm a dragon. Don't make me roar. I can roar, you understand? But there's more strength in being calm. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I hate shouting and arguing. So for me, that whole barking thing for me, man, I can't work with that. I refuse to work with it because my mum didn't shout at me, so I'm not going to be with someone who's shouting. You know what I'm saying? That's one of my gripes, man. I hate that.
Yeah. No, I definitely hear you, man. Man. You know, Ads, what about yourself, bro? Like, when is she not a keeper? Like,
I think Freddie said it in one, and it goes back to what I said, which is kind of the flip side of what for me is a keeper. A woman who's just contentious, argues, and just throws out words in any which way. For me, all of those things, they don't give me no peace of mind. That to me, that kills the spirit. Do you know what I mean? So I can't deal with that. Especially if you think about it in any relationship, as you're bringing two people together, you're gonna have differences of opinion, and there's got to be that space whereby we can have a discussion, disagree about things, but it doesn't turn into ugly. The way it's ugly, and let's face it, women are more powerful with words than men. Women can actually come at you really hard to the point that you come to the table 100% sure about your thing, But by the time she's finished with you, you're doubting yourself.
You're done. You're done. You're the ones that like you start checking yourself. You know, you go into a room and put on Jodeci or Donald Jones, Usher, and start checking yourself. You know what I'm saying? Making sure, right, did she really say that? Am I really like that? And you start questioning your own shit.
There you go. And that adds to that mental stuff that we're talking about, because you then start questioning your own shit. Because you got verbalized out.
Yeah.
What about you, Davis?
Yeah, it's that psychological warfare, man. It's similar to what you guys, and it's interesting as well, because I've never been asked that question, you know, and I've not been asked that question with other brothers. And yeah, it's when the woman just destroys my soul. You know what I mean? Like through the words, like I want to be felt. Like out there can be wicked sometimes. You know, when you're grafting, you're battling, you know, on the chessboard, and you're negotiating. You come home, you don't want no stress, man. Like allow it, innit? This like boost me up, man. Like regenerate me. You understand what I'm saying? And if she can't do that, then get the hell out of here. You know, you're not for me, man.
What about honestly? What about, are you concerned with a woman's past? So like, if you meet the one and she's the one, and the one is the one, but you meet someone who you believe is a keeper. She's a keeper now, and then she tells you that, for example, she slept with X amount of man. She was at Ridley Road Market doing her thing. You know what I mean?
My man said Ridley Road.
Now she's changed, and now she's a keeper. But then she was doing her thing. Would like honestly? Is that keeper candidate?
I need to be honest. You know, like she has to choose. I'm gonna be honest, innit?
It's an honest platform.
She needs to have transformed. Like I don't want to see. You know when you change, right? You see remnants of the past. Like she's dragging it, like the baggage. It might come up in certain behavior. I need someone that's transformed. If you've got a bad past, you need to be able to, you know, appear like it happened, but you've developed from it and you've become a butterfly. You was once a caterpillar, now you're a butterfly. You know, people just bring their past with them. They've got their little ways. Me, that's just not for me, innit? Like I find that challenging. I'm not gonna lie. You know, it's happened once. Sorry, this happened once to a girl. I made the mistake of asking her like about her past, and what I heard, my ego just got crushed, and I knew that Davis. No, it was a sad moment for me, man. It was sad because I was just like, I'm not ready for this life. I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Changed, isn't it? You came there all positive, man. She came with all the I think that you got to try and make excuses to get out. You're the ones there. You got to try and think of something to say to escape.
It was bad, man. It was bad. You know? But yeah, Ade, man, like, I'm having a moment now. Ade, what you saying?
So here's the thing about it, right? I guess looking at me, right? So this is where I actually bring myself into it. When I look at me and look at my past and look where I've come from, if I met a woman, right, and she had a past, whatever, but she was demonstrating that she also was on that growth, and she could demonstrate that she's consistent with it. But also even if part of it was even, hey, she shows self-awareness by saying, hey, here's my past, here's some of my traumas, here's how sometimes it manifests itself, but it doesn't mean nothing. But this is where I get triggered. So she can own all of that. She can work through that. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, that's where you were, and this is where you are.
Do you know what? I agree with you, right? But being honest and being real, right? If I'm, for example, just say, right, I'm just being honest in it because this is what we do. We're kings that are honest, right? Me and Davis are in a rave partying, right? And I'm like, D, like, I'm having a christening or a party, or me and D are bubbling, right? And then you walk in the door with Isabella, Taisha, Kanisha, Palisha, right? And this one, look at each other like, raw. I swear that girl slept with the whole of Brixton and Peckham, and she was a this and a that. And then you come up to me and say, this is my girlfriend, but she's changed, right? No matter what, that stigma that went with her, I'm not saying we can't change because we all got past, but I'm just saying, how would you deal with it knowing that we're looking at you like, raw, look at Tanisha, Kanisha, Alopecia. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a hard pill to swallow. Like,
it's a hard pill, and I think there's levels to it, right? There's gonna be some stuff that a woman that you might just say, okay, fine, for those reasons, right? That you know what, I'm not gonna be able to really walk with her and claim her to be my own, so therefore I can't, hold her up like that, right? But there's gonna be some other bits and pieces that you have to work for, and I think that's the conversation piece. It's about people being honest with each other about, hey, here's where I'm at. What I'm saying around that as well is, even if that honesty starts, it's like, okay, if you share whatever your past is, and if I agree at that point that, okay, I can work with that. But if I start hearing some other shit popping up that you didn't tell me, there's problem.
You know what?
There's problem. It's like, okay.
I'm totally with you, man, because like I think like everyone's got a past, man, and the reason why I throw it out there is not that I try it because I know my past and shit that I've done on all levels. I'm trying not to be judgmental when it comes to anything, and that's women, roads, streets, gangs, all that kind of stuff. Like I'm not judgmental, but I just wonder because I feel like a lot of the time men make choices that men's choices are affected through egos. And affected by what other people might say and things like that. Do you know what I'm saying? A lot of people are like, boy, like, do you know what I mean? So I just wanted to throw it out there into the conversation.
That's a good question. And somebody just posted a question to say this. I was speaking with a man and he asked me to show him my demons. What do you think of that, brothers?
Is what?
Yeah.
Her what?
So a question came in for somebody. I was speaking with a man and he asked me to show him my demons. What do you think of that, brothers? So Freddie, what do you think?
Do you know what? So personally, I love that stuff. And so there was a time, right, where I'd get into a conversation, for example, and if I felt like, okay, this is the one, or the one I'm serious, I'm like, show me your worst. Because if you show me your worst, anything else after that is minor. Do you know what I'm saying? So I used to play this game where it's like, you tell me one of your worst demons, and I'll tell you one of my worst demons. And then that way we can work backwards. Do you know what I'm saying? Because once you've accepted that, what else is there then? Because you've accepted some of the worst stuff, so anything else is mediocre. So I don't have a problem with, you know what I mean, sharing and opening up. But then it comes back to owning your truths, owning things about you. People ask me about when I was younger, I went through child abuse and stuff like that. So am I going to be, oh no, I'm not going to talk about being abused when I was younger because you might judge me. If you want to judge me, that's on you, innit? That's on you judging me. That ain't my issue. I ain't carrying that. You want to carry it and feel a certain way, but I'm not going to carry it. Has it affected me growing into an adult? Probably. Has it affected the way that I deal with women? Probably. But that's my truth. That's mine. So you know what I'm saying? So it depends on the maturity of the couple and the people, and can you handle that? So can you handle the truth? You know what I mean? You want the truth, but can you handle the truth? You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah, and obviously you got their truth and you got my truth as well, and you know but just to answer that question as well, I love that as well. I love that shit. You know, like let's go in. I only do it at the beginning. Like, there's no point getting to know each other. You got established, and then you're asking it. It's like it's just all messy. I need to do it when there's no emotional attachment. It's not like that with these friends we're building. I've not made no commitment or anything like that. You know. But yeah, I think it's very important because, you know, there's no point you're getting intimate, you're forming a good relationship with someone, and then that person spoils it, or you even spoil it by saying something. Yeah, and it's just like, well, you didn't tell me you had 20 kids or whatever the case is.
But like, David, you know what? You know your brother's my baby father. What?
Oh, yeah, that would be a good film, actually. Can you imagine that?
You're right. That. Like, you know what, guys? I was watching your live the other day, and guess what? I got two baby fathers. One's called Ade and one's called David. Do you know them? I'm like, what? What? Why couldn't you tell me that at the beginning? Why are you telling me that like 4 years later? Like, do you know what I'm saying? So I hear you.
Yeah, but so I think, and once again, I think we're going with extremes there. So me, I guess I'm a little bit different. I'm an open book, so I like to just share some of my backgrounds with women from day one. I want you to know, hey, look, here's where I'm coming from. Here's what I've been through and whatnot. Can we sit with this? As I'm getting to meet or know a woman, I've also learned in life as well. For me personally, I'm not so much interested in what a woman says, but how she actually shows up. Do you know what I mean? How she's been. Now, there are going to be some really bad demons that I guess I can avoid.
Oh, yeah, just be truthful, man. Boy, you're safe. We got you, man. Freddie, we got him, yeah?
Look, I think there's demons and there's demons, right? And I think there's some that, you know what, if I got to meet somebody and I know their character and then they drop some, and it's hard because I'm just speaking off the top of my head. It's hard to, if they drop something to me, which, I had a bullshit or I did this, like, and I've got to know them and know their character, I can put it into context then and say, okay, fine, I get that. Do you know what I mean? And I think there's other things which actually, if it turns out like it's an outright lie, there's different. But for me, I like to get to know people where they're at. And I'm not so much about what people say. It's more about how you showing up, Are
Yeah.
you consistently showing up?
True. Can I just say, guys, if you're joining us now, this is Brothers Keeper. This is something we're going to be doing every 2 weeks, and today we're discussing, is she a keeper? We feel like as men we need to have more open, honest conversations. And myself, Ade, and also Davis are obviously we're 3 brothers in the community. We all stand for. I like to believe we're all stand-up men. We all do what we do, and you know what I'm saying. And kings need to have conversations, man. And in having these conversations, we learn, we grow, and we hope that you learn and grow with us. Do you know what I'm saying? None of us are perfect, and we're trying to learn and grow. They say men don't talk, so here we go. We're talking. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what. If you just joined us, this is what this is about.
Yeah, and after this, family, like 10:30, we're going to be on Clubhouse where we're going to be opening up this conversation. So please join us. I don't know, Ade, where do they find it in Clubhouse?
Yeah, if you've got a Clubhouse account, come on to what we'll do is so if you get a chance, put the link for the Clubhouse on the Facebook page so people can join us directly afterwards.
Okay, let me do that now.
Yeah, you guys can join us on Clubhouse for a conversation. You can have your say. You can come up on stage and basically ask any questions you want, and also have your say. What your views are on is she a keeper? Maybe you've been with somebody that wasn't a keeper, or maybe you're a keeper and you're not being treated like a keeper. There's so many different sides of this coin. So we'd love you to come and join us on Clubhouse and have the conversation after this.
Yeah,
definitely so.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to ask you, brothers, because even off the back of the question that was just asked, about the demons, I know demons is like aggressive, and normally the demon is defending something. Do you know what I'm saying? How do you feel about like sharing your inner child? Because all of us have that vulnerability in it. So I don't mind saying to a queen, like I've done this, I've done that, like the aggressive, the grime, and the gut, all that is calm, but letting them know how I feel about something, that's a bit more challenging for me. I got to like prepare myself for that, and I'm not so easy with that. You know what I'm saying? I'll talk all day about this is what I've done, minor, but will I say, like I'm sad, or I'm depressed, or I'm going through something?
What star sign are you?
Sagittarius. Fire sign.
What's that one again? Sagittarius. What's that one look like?
What's
that one look like?
It looks like a king with a crown.
Okay.
I'm Aries. But you know what? You know what, D? That is
Aries. That's the ram, right? That's the ram.
Yeah,
April.
Yeah. We like quick temper and want to kill everything, like mad. Like that's the thing with men, and especially when we come from a certain background. And I'm a bit like you. I'm learning to be the other way because I'm quick to do the other side. Wait, do you know what I mean? I can talk for days to men about the guys I've mashed up on the road and the things that I've done on the street, and that's easy. Do you know what I mean? But when it comes to, like you said, becoming vulnerable and actually saying, even there's a point where even saying I love you was like raw. If I say I love you, is that a contract? Is that like?
It's deep.
Is that contract? Now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey, once you say that now, is that it? Then you're in. Does that mean that like I've said those words? I remember for years as a youth, I'm like, right, don't say that in the car. When you say that, that's really locked in.
Certified, yeah.
So here's the thing, though. I got a question for you both. So me, I'm a bit different. I can be quite vulnerable. Do you know what I mean? I don't watch that no more. Ages ago, I couldn't be, but now I can be. I just say what it is because you know what? It is what it is. I am who I am.
I agree.
But here's a question, right? So talking about contracts, I was speaking to a woman a few months ago, and she told me about this thing, and I'm wondering if you guys have ever heard about it, and if anybody is listening in can like shed some light on it, it'd be good. Apparently, women have this thing that if they sleep with you twice, no, let me do that. If they sleep with you once, right, it's a thing. There's nothing in there. But if they sleep with you twice, it's a relationship. Hold on. It gets deeper, bruv. So I'm like, okay, really? And at what point does the guy know? What point do you tell the guy? They're like, you don't need to tell the guy. The guy should know.
Wow.
I'm wondering, do you guys know about this 2-thing contract that's unspoken, but you're committed?
Bro, wow. I've never heard about that.
Me neither, boy.
That's that thing. So you do it twice, and then the next day they're moving in. What? Listen. Wow.
I thought you loved me, though. I thought you loved me.
Behave like you're in a relationship. You're not allowed to like any girl's post on social media. All of these other things. It's like what?
Okay,
Really?
so you know what? Back to, on this issue of keeper thing, how do you feel about women that are, I wouldn't say obsessive, but like jealous? Because see, what a little bit of jealousy is healthy, I
Correct.
believe. But how do you feel about women that are jealous, man? That are like, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Is it jealous or insecure? Which one is it? Is it because
Ooh, that's a
there's a
point.
thin line? There's a thin line, I
There's
think.
a thin line in it. They kind of
Yeah.
mix into each other.
There's a thin line between jealousy.
All right, let's address both of them. So insecure first, because insecurity might not be their fault. That could be down to how they've been made to feel by other men.
Yeah. Do you know what? I don't mind the insecurity, you know. What I don't like is and I don't like it because that's what I used to do. I used to project. So I'm not insecure, you're insecure. And then I'll get into your head, and then before you know it, I'm calm and I've got you this all twist up in the head, do you know? So I don't mind someone that's insecure, but you have to own that mole. You know what I mean? You got to own it, and you got to be able to, you know, don't rebound it back to someone else, making them think they're the ones with the problem when it's really you're the one. It's not even a problem. You're the one who have to challenge the hurdle that you need to overcome. You know what I mean? So yeah, insecurity is all good, man. It's how you handle it, man. Just handle it, innit? I'm insecure as well, but I'm not gonna make you think it's your fault. You know what I'm saying?
Are you insecure? You're not insecure. Are you insecure?
Yeah, about look, one or two little things. You know what I'm saying? Like my height. You know what I mean? I'm a bit short.
Tell us, what is it? What about you?
What about me? Am I short? Yeah. Am I older? What?
Am I taller than you? Who's taller? Me or you, ads?
I don't know. Maybe you. I don't know.
Yes.
Wait. How tall are you? Because you look tall on camera.
I'm 5'9".
I'm 5'9" as well.
I thought
Without heels on.
I thought you was
I'm
like
5'9" without heels.
Chris Savage size.
Oh, you're like 6 foot sign, ain't ya?
I'm 6 foot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're just behind you. We're just behind you. Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
Everyone's united, man.
What do you think about insecure women? Then is that something that bothers you? Do you need a woman to know herself and know her? Because this is the thing. Like, women want a man to know himself and know what they're about and and all that kind of stuff, right? But how do you feel about women? Do you want a woman that knows herself and is secure in herself to the point where you go to a club and your missus gets you dressed to go to the club? You know, that kind of power, like that's the kind of. Bro, I'm telling you, that's my thing. That I'll be getting dressed, and then my woman will be like, you know what? I'm gonna help you get dressed. Go out there and shine. Go out there and be that king. So not any woman can do that unless she's secure of herself.
Okay, I get that point. Yeah, so to me, I'm not really a fan of insecurity per se. I prefer a woman to be secure, confident. But to Davis's point, if a woman is insecure but can own it and then communicate it goes back to what I was saying before. If it's like, okay, here's some things about me, here's what I've been through, and here's how it manifests in me, and here's how I might behave in those contexts, and she's owning that, then we can work through that. But if it's that type of insecurity which turns into flaring up and just unnecessary other bits and pieces, then no, I'm not really into that. I think jealousy is good, healthy jealousy. But I think a woman who really is secure and can own it, be like, yeah, like you said, go out there, do your thing. I know you're coming back home to me. I know you ain't going nowhere, because you know what? I know how to look after you, I know how to treat you, how to nourish your soul, your mind, everything. You ain't going nowhere.
But you know what, Ade, as well, it's one thing to own it, but it's a second thing to do something about it. You know, so I don't want to be no one that's got they're just stuck in that rut. This every time I'm insecure, you know that, honey. I'm insecure. Like, own it, and no pressure. But I would prefer someone that's willing to work through it, you know, and resolve it and transform out of it. Not to hold it as an excuse for life, you know.
Yeah, that's like someone who's got someone, for example, who's got an illness. But I've got an illness, but I ain't going doctors. You know what I mean? Like I've got an STD, but I've got it, but I'm not gonna go and get it treated. I just got it. Like, what is that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you've got these issues, then you have to deal with them. And same with men as well. I mean, it goes. It's not just a one thing. It's an in general thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like a lot of people bring so much baggage into relationships, man. Like, they just carry stuff with them. And sometimes you've got to think to yourself, should we be addressing our baggage before we get into something? Or should we be bringing our baggage into something and expecting that person to deal with our baggage? Do you know what I mean? Like, what do you do with that?
So to me, I think it's a bit like this, right? If we're going on holiday together and we both got our bags, right, and we know what our bags are and we're transparent about our bags are, then it's cool. Then we have the choice to say, actually, you know what? Here's my shit. Here's your shit. Actually, can we deal with this together? Great. But if we get into a relationship, all of a sudden you're just bringing out even more luggage.
but what do you do though? But what do you do though if you get to the airport, right, and you open your bag, right, and you just got a few boxer shorts, a couple of trainers, and she opens hers, and she's got like 50 pairs of shoes, jacket, blazer, everything in there. Like, so you both got to sit on her luggage and close the thing. It's just overflowing with baggage.
So here's the thing, bro. If we can both sit on it and we can close the thing and the thing stay closed, then that's a good starting point for us. But if we sit on it together and it closes and that shit just bursts open later, then there's problems.
Yeah.
That's why
so then what happens is that you've got on the plane and leave her and she ain't going on holiday.
You didn't say we was going on holiday.
Freddie, you're troublesome, you know. You see you. Yeah, you.
He didn't say we was going on holiday. He tried to put sand in my gari, and I reject that. Anyway, here, I just want to quickly read something, right? This is from Paul Lawrence, from our brother Paul Lawrence. As we said at the beginning, Paul was one of the original hosts on this show, and obviously his untimely passing. But he shared something beforehand that I'd like to read out to you guys and to everybody else to see what you think, right? Men attend to women for two reasons: sex and love. But in most cases, men do not marry for sex or for love. They marry for stability. Let me explain. A man can love you and not marry you. So for a lot of women, and I've been seeing posts popping around like, you know, hey, yeah, a man be with you but don't marry you. Maybe pay attention to what comes next here. A man can have sex with you for years without marrying you. But immediately he finds someone who brings stability in his life, he marries her. What do I mean by stability? Well, what I mean by stability is peace of mind. I've seen some guys who've made this statement: I love this lady, but I don't think I could spend the rest of my life with her. Men are visionaries. When they think about marriage, they don't think about wedding dresses, bridesmaid, anything that most ladies think is fanciful. They think whether this woman can build me a home, can she take care of my kids, and can she give me peace of mind? Men don't like ladies who give them discomfort. This is why a man can stay with a woman for years and meet another in a month, then get married to her. It's the comfort of having peace of mind they want. Sex is a pleasure. Love is an affection. Respect is a stability.
Plop, 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 plop.
Powerful. And when you look at that and you break it down, there's a lot in there that makes sense, you know. When you think about it, and when I look at myself and analyze myself, I think to myself, oh, you know what? There's a lot of truths in that shit there.
Yeah, peace of mind, man. Like
peace of mind. But we all said that from the beginning. We all said that,
bro.
Yeah.
When we asked about
most of the time. Yeah, we all said it. And if you think about it, as men, right, as black men especially, doing what we do, right, out in the world, we get beaten up. I don't know about you guys, but I get sometimes beaten up. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. There's certain things that I have to deal with that I have to just shut down. When I say beaten up, it's more at that mental level whereby something somebody implies, or no matter how high you get, there's always going to be that tint of racism and, you know, all those things that you've got to deal with, that you've got to learn to internalize, right? And you've got to maintain this front that, okay, you know what? Bite my lip on that one. Okay. But as a man, you want to be able to come home to that special person who you can be vulnerable with and share all your fears and here's what happened today and then cry and whatever. And she's got you. Like, you don't want to be going home into an environment where it's like you're dealing with it outside and then you come home and
what time do you call this?
Where do I go? Where do I go now?
Your home is meant to be your haven, man. That's the one place you can go to where you have peace. And that's why I don't like arguing. You know what I mean? Arguing, if you're with a woman and you argue in your house, where's your sanctuary? Where do you go to? Like, and there's a big difference between arguing and disagreements. Like, you're allowed to disagree, you're allowed to debate, but why does having an argument, there's something ain't right? Do you know what I'm saying? That's how I look at things.
Yeah. Because with the arguing, it comes to, you know, like the comments and the disrespect and it's the whole energy. It's you're not trying to work through something. You're trying to put someone down. When I argue, I'm a monster. Like,
but I'm
stay
like,
over there, man.
You start firing those shocks. You start firing those words, but then you can't take them back. Like you said, man, like sometimes I'd rather someone just punch me in the face because I put a plaster on it and I'm good. But it's when they hit you with a word, like rah,
That's it,
blah blah
man.
blah. Like all months later, you're still thinking about it. Like rah,
There you go, bro.
she said that or he said that, and then once they've said it, they can't even take it back because you then start thinking that, you know what? Now you said it in it, so you still thought it at the time. You might be sorry now, but you still said it, which means you still thought it.
Here's the next thing about that, right? And I think it's one thing if somebody says something and tries to take it back. Sometimes people say things and they won't take it back.
Yeah.
Actually, they make you wrong for it. They make you wrong for your response to it. Do you know what I mean? And I'm saying all of those type of things. And for men, and it's funny because even if you think about it, even in the Bible, right, it says a man's better off living in the desert. Another way it says a man's better off living on the roof of the house than in a house with a contentious woman.
Yeah, that's nice.
And we're not saying, like I think we're saying here, is it's good. We want a woman to be able to, push back against you, and not just be a walkover and all of that.
Definitely.
How do you do it? This is why I kept on saying about words. How do you communicate in such a way that actually, you know what, you're not killing the guy, but you're making your point clear. And like I said, women are lethal, man. That's why they say the tongue is like a two-edged sword. And women, they great with that. What?
Yeah.
You go to the corner and say, yay.
Yeah, I hear you. Guys, if you're just joining us, this is a brand new podcast. We do this bi-weekly. It's called Brothers Keeper. You have we're the three hosts. On my top left, I hope it's your top left, we have Adi Shakoya. On my right, Brother Davis, and myself, Freddie. And we will be dealing with topics from an unapologetic view. We're just going to talk it as it is. We speak about things as it is, and as you can hear we just go at each other when need be. Like nothing's getting held back here. We're all kings, we're all brothers, and we all love each other. So we can cuss each other if we need to. If I think Davis is wrong, I'm going to tell him. If he thinks I'm wrong, he'll tell me. If Ads thinks I'm out of order, he'll tell me. There's no sugarcoating in this room, man. We are brothers, and we have honest conversation, man. If you've liked what you've heard so far and you want to have your say, join us straight after on Clubhouse. On the right-hand side, you can see all the links where to follow us, and you'll be able to have your conversation, join in, give your comments, and also give your views and what you believe if she's a keeper or if he's a keeper. So join us straight after on Clubhouse.
Yeah, spot on. And I've put the link inside there. So underneath the video, if you're watching this in Facebook, we'll just put it underneath there. Just also let you know we're going to have Shireen Barrows, who's going to be joining us. So she's a psychotherapist, I believe. She's going to be joining us in Clubhouse as well to maybe, just shed some light on some of this in this context as well.
And also Nancy Elliott, she's a relationship therapist. She's got a book called Single Girls Rehab. So she'll be joining us as well, giving her insight into like women's views on relationships. So there's going to be some exciting conversation. Guys, also Freddie, so we should start to wind down.
Yeah, just a quick one as well. This first episode is sponsored by what? Do you want to just talk about who's sponsoring this amazing first podcast today, bro? You're the only right person to do it. If you feel you want to.
Do you know what? I'll do it. I like you to do it. Can someone else do it? Because it sounds better when it comes from somebody else. All right.
Hold on. Let me even bring it up, Joe. Oh, my bad. Should have got this one ready before, man.
Yeah. Freddie, I hear what you're saying. It's just like when people ask me, Davis, talk about what you're doing. I'm like, you talk about it, man. It's like,
all right, you know what? Let me not be modest. All right, so this episode has been sponsored by my film, basically. She's the One. It's a romantic comedy showing. I guess it's the first British romantic comedy with 2 black leads. Do you know what I'm saying? Like America, they've been killing the whole black lead thing, and they've been doing it for years. Tyler Perry, Kevin Hart, Will Smith with Hitch. But in the UK, we've never had a romantic comedy with 2 black leads. So I'm kind of proud that my film is not only doing well, but it's also able to, sponsor this episode of Brothers Keeper. So if you haven't seen the film, please check it out. It's called She's the One in the UK. In the US, it's called Love Spell, and it kind of deals with some of the things we're talking about. Is she a keeper?
Yeah, I'm doing my best here to show it up here so that you also know it ain't no small boy film. The film's on IMDb. It's gonna be in Hollywood, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's on Amazon, it's on Sky, it's on iTunes, it's on Microsoft, it's on all digital platforms right now.
Oh, yeah, that's Love Spells. That's you got so many films, bruv.
Yeah, that's the American title. But in the UK, it's called it's called She's the One.
Wow, see, international now.
Yeah, come on. That's how we do this thing. Or we got to get this thing everywhere.
Big boy. No shaking, eh?
So,
wicked,
guys,
wicked.
We've got literally 1 minute left. So we need to close this down and jump on Clubhouse. Guys, please join us on Clubhouse for the rest of the conversation, where you guys can have your say. This is Brothers Keeper. I hope you've enjoyed the show so far with my co-hosts Ade and Brother Davis. We're gonna, every 2 weeks we'll have a different topic, and please, on our Facebook page, leave anything you want us to discuss. Write it down. Send us whatever you want to do. We'll talk about it, man. We don't feel no way. Guys, I'm gonna jump off and open up the Clubhouse room.
Yes. Thank you for listening, guys. Look after yourselves. Stay positive during these times. And yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks, man.
All love. See you in a bit.